Alright everyone, we start off today with the FEC filing for a campaign for Mike Pence for President 2024. Everyone was up in arms about this. The response is mostly negative. There's not really a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, Mike Pence, oh hee hee, what a wonderful alternative to the evil Trump. Oh, Mike, I'm really gonna throw my hat into the ring with him. Yeah, I'm biking with Mike now." That seems to be a very, very small number of people. I'm almost thinking, because they've come out and clarified now, link in the description, archived of course, the Pence campaign says it didn't file. They're saying, no, Mike didn't file to run for the presidency. You'll have to talk to the people at the FEC. The problem being the FEC is it would be illegal for them to actually detail what happened because it's an official filing. So now I guess the Pence people have to go and find out who fucking filed it. I'm almost thinking, though, hear me out here, because basically everything we're seeing right now within politics and society is smoke and mirrors and shenanigans. Why do I get the sneaking suspicion that this is Mike's way of testing to see what the public reaction will be to a campaign, and then a couple of hours later you disavow it because you realize you don't really have the ability to run? I think that's what happened here. I think that Mike Pence had a staffer, probably on a VPN or something, file the paperwork. Apparently it's literally listed for the FEC. There's a filing number in every way anyway, so it is real. It was actually made, the filing. You have to have tax identifier number and ID and stuff like that to file for running for a federal office. Somebody either managed to get a hold of the documents that Mike Pence has, or they filed with their own shit, which is probably a federal crime, and filed for an election run for Mike Pence. I have the feeling it was someone working with him. I have a feeling that this was an A/B test, which is, kind of smart, I guess. You're looking at the polls and you see, well, I'm gravitating around 5 or 6 points. That's not terrible. I'm not in Chris Christie land. Assuming DeSantis doesn't get in, technically speaking, Mike Pence is a little bit ahead of Pompeo in third place. It would be in second, arguably, if DeSantis weren't there. But if you come out, you file, or you have paperwork filed for the run, and then you can sit back for a few hours and, you probably leak it yourself, because I can't imagine the average person is sitting on the FEC website searching for Mike Pence every single day. So you search it up, screen cap it, you put it on 4chan, Twitter, Reddit and stuff, and then you see what the reaction is. How are people going to react, says Mike, if I decide to run, and I will never be alone in the same room as a woman other than my wife, and, all of this Mike Pence stuff. How would they react? Oh, universally negatively? Well, quick, call up the people over at NBC and CNN and tell them that it wasn't us that filed it. Well, I guess I'm out for 24. Maybe he'll fucking do it again. To be clear, the odds of Mike Pence becoming the President of the United States are so astronomically slim, because he doesn't really have a coalition, that it's not even, most people are just being outright dismissive. They're like, he filed to run. I don't give a fucking shit. Even before they knew that the filing was fake, which is about the only interesting part of the story, other than the temporary belief that Mike Pence was about to commit even more career suicide, the only interesting thing is how dismissive people were. Most of the reaction is some permutation of, this is meaningless, he can't win. This is meaningless, I would never vote for him. I don't even know why he would bother trying, because he's doomed and nobody likes him. Or, hey, I fucking hate the bastard. That's basically all of MAGA. To be clear, Donald Trump still maintains about 50% of the GOP as a hardened core. It's virtually impossible for anyone to scrape together a coalition to stop him, even if you only have one relatively strong non-Trump candidate, which, at this point at least, would have to be DeSantis. Now, some dark horse candidate, a long-lost second cousin of George W. or Ronald Reagan or something like that shows up to run. That's possible. That's basically the only hope that they have. I personally think that between the legal filings, pertinent to the Mar-a-Lago raid, J6, etc., and all the other bullshit that's going on, the continued suppression of Trump's active presidential campaign, in which he is by far the front runner, and certainly only candidate at the moment who's actually registered at all by big tech. I think this is all to try to stop him from getting through the primaries with significant energy. That is, what they're trying to do is invert what Trump did in 2016. In 2016, most of the candidates continued their normal candidate thing. So they said, well, Trump is full of bluster. He's a little bit out there. My opponents are too extreme. This is what they do. You saw it from Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, etc. They were boring. Classical politics. The only people that give a fucking shit are people that are fooled into the uniparty dichotomy. They're partisans, and they actually believe that it's like a football game, and that at the end of the day, these people don't all go party with each other. Trump sucked the oxygen, the attention out of the room, by being different, by being the brown milk, as Chris Whalen, CPA, might put it. He was the unique candidate, the only one that had actual viability and was capable of navigating through the stormy waters of a debate and actually coming out on the other end unscathed. This is something that you don't see from a lot of the also-ran candidates. You think of Beto, Andrew Yang. Interesting people, not so wide a variety of things that they talk about. They're interesting in one or two ways, and that's really the only reason that you know about them. Trump had the money, so he could self-fund. He knew that he wasn't going to get as much financial support from the RNC donor base with his particular populistic ideals. He managed to make it. Mikepence would never have that advantage. Throwing him in there, it would basically be like Jeb Bush 2.0. Guacamole and all. It'd probably just be a grift if he did run. Honestly, I think that about many of the others that have hinted that they might get in. So Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, certainly Pompeo. His basic idea is, hey, give me 15 more minutes of fame, I'll sell more books to China. It's basically what he wants. He wants money. Mikepence might actually be delusional enough to think that if he gets up there and says, well, I am MAGA, but mistakes were made on January 6th, and I have to disown this insurrection-y stuff, and yes, I wish I could have done more, but I just couldn't. MAGA's not going to get behind you. The neocons won't get behind you because you were Trump's VP, to be clear. And you just don't have the it factor. You even look like George W. Bush. You kind of sound like him, too, to tell the truth. Where's the fucking coalition? When I look at the polls and I see some of them saying Pence has 5 or 6%, I chuckle at that and think that it's probably on the high side. It's probably closer to 2 or 3 in a one versus one race between Trump and Pence, DeSantis and Pence, pretty much anyone versus Pence. Fucking Chris Christie might be able to hold his own against Mikepence. He'd probably, in the end, because Mikepence is so fucking boring, Chris Christie might come out on top and edge him out for third place in a packed field. I don't know exactly what's going to happen in the subsequent year, other than the fact that they're holding leverage over Trump's head to try to make him look less palatable to MAGA voters who will worry that he's not viable, so why vote for the man who can't get elected? They're trying to black pill everyone. In what reality do you have to be existing to think that Mikepence would be an answer to that dilemma? Again, it's not going to, whip up the MAGA populists. Libertarian leaners like a Rand Paul's not going to back him, if only begrudgingly, maybe in the 11th hour. And even the neocons don't really like the dude. They see him as, well, he talks the talk. But when it comes down to it, he never resigned as Trump's VP or something like that. He never really came out forcefully enough. In the wake of J6, he refused to disavow the former president, the disgraced Donald Trump, so we can't fund him. The FEC filing is not real. I genuinely think it may have been an A/B test. Well, it's a test that the Mikepence campaign failed miserably. Judging from the reaction, I would say that any presidential ambitions he has are now completely dead. That's about all. Peace out.